This mutation is called Temple of Pain, and it is being played on Temple of the Past. We have 3 mutators active, we have Avenger, we have Barrier, and we have Mineral Shields. So, let us have a look at the masteries while the players get set up. Karax is a level 900 Ascension player, 30 points in the Unit Vitality Mastery, 30 points into the Repair Beam, and 30 points into the initial Spear of Adun Energy Mastery. Fenix has gone for 30 points into the Energy Regeneration, 30 points into the AI Attack Speed, and then a 26-4 split into the Chrono Boost and Starring Supply Mastery. So pretty much all optimized over here, and if you are wondering why Fenix has this kind of weird split, this is basically an optimization that they have made for their build order to ensure they do not get supply blocked in the early stage of the game, and it helps them ramp up actually a lot better than they would normally do without having just a few points in this initial starting supply. Karax is going for the Solarite Celestial Prestige. This is P3 Karax, which is the Spear of Adun Prestige. Lots of powerful abilities on the Spear of Adun. So Karax will probably be looking to try and improve his Spear of Adun. Yeah, that is exactly what we're seeing. He's already starting his Spear of Adun upgrades because he knows, he's very well aware that this is going to be the thing that he's going to need to carry him throughout the course of this mission. Now, there are a few things. Let's talk about the mutators first. Avenger, whenever you're killing enemy units, the enemy units nearby will get a little bit stronger, and they will get higher attack speed, movement speed, armor, life regeneration. It's just really nasty. And they also get a little bit bigger. It's actually kind of comical to see the Void Thrashers that on this mission also get the Avenger buff, and yes, the Void Thrashers do get the Avenger buff. We have Barrier, which means that whenever you start dealing damage to some of these enemy units, they will gain a temporary shield, which absorbs a certain amount of damage. And as you can see, we have also Mineral Shields, which is going to be responsible for significantly stifling your macro. Now, the one way you can deal with Mineral Shields is you can put down some static defense on the back of your mineral line if you're playing particular commanders. So in this case, we have both Protoss commanders, so Karax and Fenix. They should be really good for dealing with the Mineral Shields mutator. 1 pylon and a couple of photon cannons, and it should be more than enough to handle that. Now, this was actually kind of surprising that I got the submission because Karax and Fenix, not the commander pairing that I would have thought would have been effective against this mutation, especially not Karax. But as I'm very actually excited to see. I'm actually excited to see how Karax is going to go and handle this. But I'm mostly also just kind of surprised that this is very surprising. Okay, so the one thing I am actually I'm actually really excited to see Karax play on this mission, because we don't really get a lot of Karax here. But yeah, the reason why I somewhat hesitated a little bit, I am a huge Supergirl fan. If you are already not aware, if you have not been watching my streams, I'm a huge Supergirl fan. And that is indeed Supergirl star Melissa Benoist there. But overall, let's go back to the mission. Let's go back to the mutators here. And it seems to be all okay. Yeah, we have a couple of photon cannons here. They should be able to handle this pretty well. The next attack wave is also going to be coming up. And we have Shadow Tech, which is probably one of the worst enemy compositions that you can be facing. I am really excited to see how these commanders are going to be dealing with this. So Karax has used his Solar Lance here. What I will do, actually, is I'll switch over to Phoenix's point of view, so this thing doesn't actually disappear every single time. And let's do a high text here, so just make it a little bit cleaner to deal with. And Karax just going full ham using his Spear of Adun abilities. And what do we have here? Phoenix has already taken this expansion. There is no saturation here of the workers onto this gas, but it's not really too much of a problem. And yeah, overall, it seems to be going reasonably well. Like, Phoenix already has Keldalis out, which is also kind of nice. And we have one Phoenix out here. And what is Karax producing right now? He is going for... interesting. So he's going for his static defense stuff here. So I think maybe what's going to happen is that Phoenix is going to start clearing and pushing down these lanes. And then maybe Karax will be spawn camping the Void Thrashers. That is one option. The other option is just to put down static defense right on the top of the high ground here. But it does mean that it's going to be a little bit more difficult to push and clear these Void Thrashers once they start spawning. Now, one thing to really know that is of real importance, that you can see here, the barrier being a little bit problematic here for Fenix. But again, Fenix having no problem completely deleting this attack wave with one of his little blasts there. But one thing to also note about this mission is that if you do not clear these lanes, the enemy probes in this case, or the SCVs, they will start putting bunkers down and they'll start sieging up siege tanks, and it becomes a lot more difficult to push in the later stages of the game, which is why it's usually very useful to actually push in and clear these lanes as soon as they open up here. One thing also that I'm kind of confused about is that there are no static defenses here for dealing with these mineral shields. Mineral shields can be very problematic for the players, so you see, this is what I was talking about, just putting down couple of cannons. 2 cannons are more than enough to be able to handle these mineral shields, and yeah, so that should be reasonably okay. Fenix has not done that though, and in the early stage of the game, you're only getting 1 mineral shield or 2 like spawning on mineral lines, so it's not really that impactful. But as the mission progresses, you'll start getting 4 and 5, and it'll start blocking your minerals from being mined out, and it does actually severely stifle your ability to build up your economy. So we have Fenix and Talus already out. Where is Keldalis actually? Keldalis actually ended up randomly dying. I think he might have ended up dying here. So we see we're already starting to get a couple of mineral shields on each of these mineral lines here. But I think overall these commanders are doing okay. They've really had no problems dealing with the attack waves so far. But then again, those were singular attack waves, and in the next set of attack waves are going to be double-pronged attack waves, and that is where things can get really, really hairy. So we have Karax already with a couple of pylons on the high ground here. I wonder if Karax is going to go and start building up some more of his resources. But yeah, Karax he hasn't really built very much, but he's not even flowing a lot of minerals here. So a lot of his stuff is going into his research here. Using the Purifier Beam to try and chase down these Liberators. He does get a few of these Liberators out. And now we have 1 Photon Cannon Liberator. We'll siege up to try and kill off this Probe. Probe will move out of the way over here. And we have 1 Shield Battery added as well to try and keep these things alive. So this is going to be a full IDEF game here for Karax. And Fenix is going to be probably the one that's going to be tasked with at least pushing through. Fenix already has Talus and Keldalis out, Mojo and Warbringer, so he needs to just get Teldaran and Clolarian, and that might be the next stage of the game that he has planned up. So what do we have in production here? Yeah, we have 1 Clolarian that'll be coming out probably for Fenix. No Teldaran out. Oh, Teldaran's here. He's just chilling right there in the base at the moment, so he's just waiting to see before he gets called into battle. But yeah, this is pretty much optimal. You should always be getting your AI champions out. They provide you with so much damage output. I've seen a lot of players ignore AI champions when they're playing P0 Fenix, and it usually is just a huge waste of potential DPS that is available. And especially when you're dealing with Mutator like this, it can get very, very nasty very, very quickly here. So Clolarian is out, Teldaran is out, the full pack of Fenix's champions are out and ready to go, and Karax actually not floating a lot of energy. He has 40 energy left, and he is, I'm assuming, just getting the rest of the Spirit of Dune upgrades. Yeah, he has the Spirit of Dune upgrades, and has he put his Chrono Boost on his ally structures? Yeah, I think he's put his Chrono Boost on his ally structures here, so that seems to be reason. Oh, there are no Chrono Boosts for P3 Karax. Never mind, scrap that. I forgot that the Chrono Boost Chrono Waves are not available for Karax. That is P3 for you. I haven't actually played with P3 very much. I think I have it on one of the servers. Haven't played it very much, but it is a very nice and fun prestige to play if you're well aware of how to use your Spirit of Dune abilities. And that is one thing also that's really important, is efficiency with your Spirit of Dune. You really do not want to be floating 250 energy with your Spirit of Dune upgrade. With your Spirit of Dune. So Karax overall handling this really well, and now we have the next attacker coming up. He's probably going to end up using a Purifier Beam here to deal with this. So Purifier Beam gets dropped, and he's just basically going to kill off all these Liberators. These Reapers are somewhat problematic, but again, the Unity Barrier is very useful and very helpful for keeping these structures alive. But this is only the first half of the attack wave. There's another attack wave on the way here. This attack wave is going to be somewhat larger, but Fenix moving into position to be able to handle this attack wave with the help of Karax. Karax using the Solar Lance, and he's also gotten the Solar Flare upgrade here, which is really nice because that Solar Flare sets the ground on fire and deals dot damage to the units in the attack wave. You just see how quickly that attack wave just got melted, mostly by Karax. And one thing I will actually show you the kill counts, but do bear in mind these numbers are going to be a little bit gibberish because these are supposed to be used for train damage and Void Sliver damage on other missions. You can see here Karax is actually out killing his ally at the moment, so it just goes to show you that you can use the Spirit of Dune to clear the attack waves, but you have to be very, very proactive. Secret Missile on here, but Galarian having the Unity Barrier keeping him alive. The next Void Thrasher has spawned and is on the way as well, and it's going to start hammering away on the temple. So Karax just getting the rest of his upgrades right now. He is doing really well. He's getting the air attack upgrade here, which is really interesting. We have the gravitic boosters upgrade, and we also have queued up a couple more upgrades here on the solar fort. This is actually really interesting. I'm not really sure what Karax's plan is. The air upgrades would imply that he might want to go for carriers or maybe phoenixes, but I'm not really sure why he's doing that. But this is what I was talking about. See how there are 4 mineral shields over here? This is how your economy can be severely stifled. Now Phoenix has actually also adapted, and Karax has also put down a few cannons here to help his ally out, which is really nice. These cannons unfortunately not attacking these mineral shields, so these workers are going to be very stifled right now. And now the next set of drop attacks are coming up along the way, and this is going to be a little bit more difficult. You can see how massive this hybrid is, and this hybrid will end up dying right now. And that is why Avenger can get really nasty. Is if you have hybrids, everything dies before the hybrid dies, which is just natural because the hybrid has a lot of HP. So this hybrid just ends up picking up all these Avenger stacks, and it's going to be really tanky over here. But again, these commanders are able to deal with it. Fenix is a surprisingly good commander. I think he's a very underrated commander. I think a lot of people think Fenix is kind of a bad commander because for whatever reason. But Fenix's ability to scale in the late game and his ability to just have damage output with really tanky units just makes him such a great commander, and he is one of the commanders that I will be playing. I do this mutation basically 3 times, one on each server, and on one of the servers I will be playing Fenix to continue my prestige leveling there. Except drop attacks over here again. This drop attacks is going to have pretty much nothing, and now we have another set of mineral shields. See how these mineral shields like block most of your mineral patches? You really want to put down some static defense here to start clearing these things out. And now the next Void Thrasher is out as well. So this temple actually is going to take a little bit of a hammering in the final stages of the mission, because Karax is not actually going to be pushing out, at least I don't think he has. Oh no, he's actually building carriers right now. Okay. So what Karax has done is he's put down a little bit of static defense, so Phoenix can actually retreat back and be able to hold the attack waves, while Karax actually supports with the Spear of Adun. And then now he's actually taking up into his carriers here, which is actually really interesting and probably a pretty solid strategy here. Karax's carriers used to be really bad. With the P2 Prestige, which is not the one that Karax is using right now, but with the P2 Prestige, which reduces the gas costs of Karax's units, you can actually do a mass carrier build, and you'll be fine there. One of the things that is really important for Karax's carriers is the Graviton Warp Catapult upgrade. And the structures are pretty much all over the place here because they are going to be using the structures to tank as well. But I don't know if Karax has a fleet beacon out. Yeah, he must be having a fleet beacon. I just don't know where it is. But one thing to note about the Karax carriers is that if you get the Graviton Warp Catapult upgrade, that upgrade is currently bugged. So the upgrade's description says you get a 25% boost in the attack speed of the carriers, but in fact it's not 25%. You get a 33% boost in the attack speed. And see now, this is why hybrids can be really deadly. This Liberator is going to start sieging up and going to start actually murdering some of these probes here. Eventually this Liberator will be killed off, but just take a look at how much HP is available here for these Liberators. So a few of Karax's workers have been killed off, but that is okay. Karax will be able to remax pretty much in no time, and he needs to be getting the rest of his army out as well. So units owned all seems to be okay here. Yeah, he's going for the air attack upgrades here. I actually mistook Karax producing carriers to Phoenix producing carriers over here. The only one mistake, my apologies for that. He's getting air attack upgrades, and then he's getting the shadow cannon upgrade for his immortal. So I'm not sure. Like maybe he's just using that as a gas dump, but there's usually no reason to do so because you could always put down some more cannons over here. And see, this is just having a few more extra cannons here might be somewhat beneficial for Karax, even though he might not need as many of them. But Fenix is pushing out over here, and you see the strength of Fenix's army. Fenix just does not care if Liberators have Avenger, if Battlecruisers have Avenger, or if even Hybrids have Avengers. Like, Fenix just is unfazed by this. Karax is using his Spear of Doom abilities very efficiently. I don't think he's gone over 150 energy throughout the whole course of the game. He's using his energy as efficiently as possible. Also, pretty much on the ball with using these cannons to clear these mineral lines. So, Karax playing as efficiently as possible for him now. Next set of attack waves has started to drop over here, and Fenix is now in position. He's just going to end up deleting pretty much everything here. And yeah, very nice, healthy army, and the other thing I've also noticed is Fenix has a very nice mix of units. He's focused mostly on anti-air because the battlecruisers and liberators are going to get really nasty in the later attacks and waves. So he has lots of little mojos. He has a big mojo and little mojos, and then he has big carriers and little carriers as well. You know, he has added a few immortals here just to get a little bit of a buff on Tel'Daran. But you can see not a lot of Colossi, not a lot of immortals, and most focus on the adepts and the anti-air here, which is really important because Shadow Tech is an air composition. Even though you start getting Reapers and stuff, this air composition is going to be a little bit difficult. This is what I was talking about. Bunkers all over the place here. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for these commanders to start pushing through. We have a few Energizers here for some reason, or we have at least, yeah, I'm not sure why these Energizers are actually attacking over here, but now there's an attack wave here, a huge attack wave that has spawned as well. This Void Thrasher is going to get absolutely massive, and I want to take a look here to see how Karax is going to deal with this. So we have triple solar lances, and now he's just going to end up deleting these battlecruisers. There we go, and there we go. Yeah, that is the battlecruisers done, and this is what I was talking about. Absolutely massive Void Thrasher. You can probably, I don't know how much HP the Void Thrasher had, but you can rewind and take a look, because that thing was up, I think, for less than half a second. And now Karax is going to be pushing in here with a Purifier Beam. He's using the Observer actually to draw aggro the Void Thrasher, so the Void Thrasher, instead with his Observer, is not actually going to be able to kill it, and therefore not deal damage to the Temple, which is a really nice stall tactic for Karax. But now we have the next attack wave. This is going to be the hybrid attack wave. Takes out the Observer, which is very unfortunate. Void Thrasher decides to attack here, but Fenix's army is already in position with Energizers on the back and Conservators as well that are there to try and just deal with some damage and provide this damage reduction buff. Just take a look at this Void Thrasher. The Void Thrasher has 10,200 shield, 8,000 HP. Just absolutely massive Void Thrasher right there. And Fenix is just going to be able to cut through this like a hot knife through butter. And now we have an attack wave that has started to aggro some of Karax's structures here. Karax will end up clearing this out. Yeah, I think Karax has just gone for all the upgrades for, I think, just for the heck of it, because he's not really built many of the only units here. So using a few more, little bit more of Spear for doing juice and clearing that out. And that has cleared out some of the hybrids, but now Fenix's army is already in position. One thing that Fenix could have actually done is maybe use his Cyber's Arbiter suit to pull his army over here so that Karax takes a little bit of less of a battering. But again, this attack wave has been handled, and now we have a triple pronged attack wave. This is going to be the moment of truth. Are these commanders going to be able to handle it? This attack wave is going to be like an egg against concrete, because Fenix has pretty much maxed out and he is ready, and he has his 3 upgrades. He doesn't have level 3 shields, but not really too big of a deal over here. Over here, Karax needs to try and deal with this attack wave, and over here as well, a little bit more damage. This Temple is taking a little bit more damage to this because they have nothing to aggro on the ground, and over here, Karax is actually going to start stealing some more of these battlecruisers. This is actually a really good strategy as well that you can utilize. Take your Energizers and just steal aim on mechanical units. And that is one of the reasons what makes Karax like really good. You will lose the Avenger buff. That is something else to also note. You do not keep the Avenger buffs of the units that you steal, but it does mean that you're taking out an enemy unit and you're removing it from the army and drawing some aggro. But the temple has been defended. All 3 bonus objectives are done. It's GG.